So this is a new challenge, a new opportunity, chance to get the season started off the right way.
Yeah, Richard.
And I don't care who you ask, any player is going to tell you it comes down about playing in the games. This is what you live for. This is what you do all that work for. So I imagine these kids are pretty excited tonight.
Gonzaga starts on the edge of the top 25. Who's the X factor? Who gets them to the top 15?
Well, I feel Elias Harris definitely is the X factor for Gonzaga. He had a phenomenal freshman season. Sophomore year, he battled a lot of injuries. He really dedicated himself this summer to getting in shape, getting those injuries behind him. I look for him to have a great junior year, possibly, hopefully better than his freshman year. If he does that, Gonzaga's gonna have a great year.
Richard, Dimitri Goodson, Stephen Gray are gone. They're young at point guard, right?
Yeah, real young at point guard. And that's the most important position on the floor. You saw it last year. Really couldn't find that consistency with Dimitri Goodson at the point guard spot. But we saw towards the end of the year, David Stockton stepped in. It was really a calming influence. Did an excellent job of leading these guys on the floor. You look at Kevin Pangos. Did a great job in that Carroll College game. He's got a chance to be special.
And the Northern Quest Resort and Casino keys to the game. Richard, start with you with Eastern Washington.
Well, the first thing that Eastern needs to do is find a score. When you look at their field goal percentage last year, they were low 40s, shot about 37 from the three-point line, but low 40s around that rim. They really struggled to score. And finally, you look at the offensive rebound. That's an area where they did a really good job last year. Over 12 offensive rebounds per game. If they can continue to do that, that's going to go a long way to helping them out.
Dan Gonzaga, take it away.
Well, he talks about compete on the glass. I feel the same thing. If Gonzaga can dominate the glass, as their best teams have in recent years, they will be a very, very good team this year. I think going along with the point guards, if they can limit turnovers as a team this year, that will go a long ways to dictating how their season goes.
Gonzaga has gone to 13 consecutive NCAA tournaments. For Eastern Washington, it's the start of a brand new era. Welcome in Jim Hayford. We'll talk about that when we come back. Gonzaga, Eastern Washington. Starting lineups, tip-off when we come back. welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington. Gonzaga hosting Eastern Washington. My, how things have changed around here, Dan and Richard. You guys didn't get the light show like that.
No, I was still in the old gym, the kennel, so I'm partial to that one. But the atmosphere in the new McCarthy Athletic Center is definitely something. If you get a chance to come to a game, you can't pass it up.
It's hard to believe neither one of you guys played in here.
My last year was the last year of the old kennel. I loved it. I always have a soft spot in my heart, but this is big time right here. I mean, I've been able to travel quite a bit around this country and watch college basketball. It doesn't get any better than this right here.
So the starting lineups for Gonzaga being announced right now. Interesting. Jim Hayford took his Eastern Washington Eagles off the floor. He did not want his team out here. Psychologically, maybe he can hamper them somehow, right? That's what he's thinking?
Well, I mean, perhaps, but it's just it's another opportunity to get away from the noise. Maybe address your team one last time before the half. We're going to focus on Gonzaga quite a bit, but Eastern's got a great story. They got a lot to play for this year, and the pressure's on over there with Hayford coming over with all the success he had at Whitworth.
Time now for our starting lineups, brought to you by Gozag's Checking only at Numerica Credit Union. Gozag's Checking, it's banking for champions. Details at banklikeabulldog.com. Cliff Colimon, Jeffrey Forbes, LaRon Griffin, Colin Chiverton, and Cliff Etterain, the starter for Eastern Washington tonight. Their head coach, Jim Hayford. He was at Whitworth for the prior 10 years. Very, very successful there. Won almost 80% of his games. Now in his first season with Eastern Washington. A local guy, a Spokane guy. A lot of connections here. Craig Elo over there as well. We'll talk about that throughout the game. Starting lineups for Gonzaga. Marquise Carter, Stockton, and Mike Hart getting their first start in their careers for Gonzaga, along with Elias Harris and Robert Sacre. The head coach, of course, Mark Few, now in his 13th season as the head coach, 23rd overall. His winning percentage is goofy, it's ridiculous. He's had tremendous success. Mike Hart and Stockton in the starting lineup. Stockton not a surprise. Hart, what do we figure from that?
Well, I think what you probably take out of the Carroll College game is I think Mike Hart took 3 or 4 charges in that game. He's probably been practicing extremely well, and that's why he got the start on opening night.
And Sacre wins the opening tip up against Cliff Etterain, and Gonzaga now in their half court. Stockton running the point guard. And there's Hart, number 30, in his first career start with GU, a walk-on. And there's Marquise Carter, number 2. Eastern's defense looking pretty good early, guys. It should though, right?
Definitely. I think one of the things you look at Eastern's roster is they've got a lot of athletic guys. They might be a little bit undersized, so what they want to do early in the game is get off to a good start and try to put some doubt in Gonzaga's mind.
First miss by Carter. Now Stockton takes it away from Colimon. Stockton has it stripped by Colimon, out of bounds. Possession stays with GU.
And that's what's remarkable about David is his ability to get in those passing lanes, get up into ball handlers, despite the fact he doesn't have a whole lot of physical gifts. He's just crafty, has a great sense of timing, and you saw it right there. That's a great steal.
Carter inside. Sacre is hammered by a couple of Eagles, and right away an 80% free throw shooter finds himself at the line.
Well, if you get the ball inside early and often for GU, obviously we've talked about it in the exhibition. We'll talk about it throughout the year. This is the strength of this ball club, is that depth up front, but that is not the strength for Eastern. If you can get a guy like LaRon Griffin or Cliff Etterain in foul trouble early, there's not a lot of depth on that bench for Eastern when it comes to those frontline players.
Foul called on Griffin, his first, team's first. Dan, it may not be a great strategy to put Sacre at the line. He's really good there.
That's one great thing about Rob Sacre as your big, is he can make free throws. So in close games, he's not a big that you're going to have to sub out of games in situations.
He's 1 of 2 to start the season. This is Cliff Colimon, number 11, with the basketball. Stockton there. I don't know what it is about bigs and shooting free throws, but they've always been good here at GU. Nice feed inside and finished by Griffin.
High pick and roll from Eastern, broke down the defense.
Carter, shot blocked by Griffin, scores at one end, the block on the other end.
And that's something that Coach Hayford has talked about constantly leading up to this game, is the effort they're going to provide on the floor. And you've seen it here to start this ball game on both ends, particularly on that last defensive play. These kids are going to play hard.
Well, they have to play hard. If you look at their record last year, 10-20, 7-9, I believe, in conference, they've got to play hard if they're going to have success this year.
So Gonzaga back on offense again. The early look to Sacre, and again he's fouled and going back to the free throw line. This may be on Cliff Etterain. So it's obvious you see Gonzaga's strategy and you see Eastern's strategy. It's almost like they knew they were going to go to Sacre early.
Yeah, and you see Eastern right away is really trying to get up in the ball handlers. That's the strength of their defense is out front. They can get up into guys with their quickness. But if you can get past that, if you can see through that pressure as an offensive guard and get the ball in the low block, Eastern's going to have a tough time all night. And that right away, this is 2 fouls that Robert's been able to draw, one on Ederine and one on Griffin. So if you, GU tonight, continue to do that. Don't get bored with that kind of success.
The one thing you see, Dan, right away from Eastern, this is an athletic team.
Oh, without a doubt. You've seen some pressure early once they cross half court. So guards, you handle the pressure, get the ball into your entry areas, which they've done early already twice with Sacre, and you're going to get good stuff.
This is Colimon working his way around the top. Now needs help. Shiverton driving and then traveled, I believe. No offensive foul.
And you wonder why David Stockton's out there on the floor. He's already got a steal. He's taking a charge. His 2 post feeds got the ball inside of Rob, ended up drawing 2 fouls. He just seems to be all over the floor.
Well, one thing you can do as an undersized guard is become a pest.
Yeah, that's a great call.
If he continues to be a good pest, he's going to make good things happen on the defensive end, which will be a surprise to a lot of people, but not the people who know the game.
3 fouls now on Eastern Washington. We're not even 2 minutes into the game. Here's Mike Hart. Carter, here's Harris, his first touch. Back to Carter, wide open 3.
And that's the right play. Got the ball inside. Elias had single coverage initially, but that double down came off of Carter. Instead of forcing the action, find the open man, and Marquise has shown the ability to knock down those shots. That's a good 2-man play.
6-2 early. Now the crowd really into this game. Shiverton driving on Harris. Turnover, Gonzaga basketball.
We talk an X factor of Elias Harris earlier in the game. One of the things that is a knock on him at times is his defensive abilities, or liabilities, so to speak. That time he really took that elbow ISO as a challenge and did a good job defensively moving his feet.
He's buying in. 3 turnovers now for Eastern Washington. 3 of their 4 possessions have resulted in turnovers. That pass may have been intended for Carter.
GU keeps swinging the ball, keep shifting this Eastern defense. Don't get impatient.
Carter again wide open for 3. That one's long. Tipped by Harris.
That's still a good shot. Just came off and knocking one down a previous possession. Again, Rob felt that double, kicked it out. If you're coach, you can live with that all day.
That's a great shot.
Here's Shiverton. Driving on Hart. Left it short. Harris with the rebound. We've got a whistle inside. And this is going to be on Gonzaga. Elias Harris, his first, team's first.
I think that's the right call. One of the things that I would like to see Gonzaga's bigs do a little bit better job of is rebound outside of their area. They all can do a better job of getting the ball that takes that extra effort.
Shot inside by Shiverton was off. And now Hart may have stepped on the end line. He did, so it goes back to Eastern Washington.
But you live with that as a coach. Good defense. You force a really tough shot. Come up with a defensive rebound. Just unfortunately, he stepped on the line.
And there's Stockton with a steal, but then lost the handle. Colimon for 3, in and out. Harris the rebound. Eastern struggling to score. And now another whistle inside, and this may be on number 15, LaRon Griffin. If it is, that's his second already.
3rd foul, Rob's already drawn with just strong post-ups. And we talked about it a bit in the Carroll College game. It's not a stat they keep over here in the States, but that is huge. You know, you look at it right now, you're well on your way to getting into that double bonus at the 10-minute mark, largely due to Rob's aggressive post-ups.
Here's
Anytime
Carter.
you can get into the bonus early, you're shooting free throws. So right now, 4 fouls within 4 minutes in, you're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the half awfully soon.
And Richard, you talked about it in the open. The key for Eastern Washington is to shoot the ball well. They're 1 of 4 to start the game.
Yeah, it's not looking good, and they look like they're uncomfortable. Obviously, part of that has to do with Gonzaga's defense, but this looks like a nervous bunch to me.
Stockton missed it. Loose ball. Saved by Hart. Knocked around by Stockton, out of bounds. It goes to Eastern.
You know, it's something else that David does, and we haven't touched on it yet, are those 50-50 plays, loose balls, offensive rebounds, just those hustle stats. He seems to come up with a half a dozen of those a night, and that is huge. Now, some of those don't show up on the stat sheet, but you put enough of those together, you're going to be in most ball games, if not winning those ball games.
Colimon and Stockton, a pair of 11s. And a blocking foul called on David Stockton. That's his first, team second. And I doubt the Gonzaga coaching staff happy with that call. 15:56 to play first half. Gonzaga leading it by 4. Welcome back to a place that is very difficult to come and win games if you're not Gonzaga. They're 89-6 since this building opened. They're 61-5 against non-conference teams in the Mark Few era. You just don't win often when you come here.
I mean, and you can see why. I mean, obviously you've got a great product, you got a great program, but this crowd is just, it's basketball savvy. I think you mentioned that maybe in the exhibition, Greg, is the fact that this crowd understands basketball. And you come in here, it's going to be hostile. The student body does an excellent job. That's never changed. From the old kennel to the new kennel, the students have always got it.
Those non-conference losses, Portland State, St. Joe's, Washington State, Wake Forest, and Virginia.
Those are all solid programs that they've lost to.
I know.
And I would guess that most of those were close games, and things just didn't happen to go down their way down the stretch.
Most of them were. There's Cliff Colimon getting inside that Zag defense, and it's a 6-4 game. And here's our first look at a freshman for Gonzaga, number 4, Kevin Pangos. Highly sought after by other universities and programs, and he ends up here at Gonzaga out of Canada. And there, they take the charge. No, they call the block on Pangos.
That's the right call, though.
You know, that is definitely the right call, but your first college possession, he's had a great preseason. Your first college possession, you pass that one down. You pass that one up. You look to get an easy one as your first shot. He can make that shot, but I'd really like to see him get an easier one for his first college attempt. Do you agree, Richard?
I do. You know, that is a good shot. Maybe not right away. You know, just as a player, you want to try to get comfortable, get a rhythm early on in the game.
So at the line, number 22, Jeffrey Forbes, a 90% free throw shooter a year ago. And he hit the first one, so it's a 6-5 game. But you also, on the other hand, got to like the fact that a freshman comes in and looks to shoot right away. If you're Mark Few, you're liking that,
it's
right?
It's much more difficult to teach a kid to be aggressive. If he's already got that, it's a lot easier to try to corral that and control that than it is to try to instill it.
Elias Harris with the miss, but another foul on Eastern Washington. This will be team foul number 5.
5 minutes in, 5 fouls. Through Gonzaga, you're loving that pace.
Without a doubt, you're shooting free throws almost the whole half. But you know, the thing for a great team is how they execute on inbounds plays. Let's see what Gonzaga does here.
Gonzaga's missed their last 6 shots. That foul on Kevin Winford, that's knocked away by number 42, Cliff Ettering. Possession stays with GU 31 on the shot clock. And here's our first look at Sam Dower, number 35, as Elias Harris goes out of the game. So the X factor goes out, and maybe if it's not Elias, the X factor, Sam Dower.
That's the beauty of Gonzaga's front line. You take out potentially your leading scorer and bring in a big off the bench who also could be your leading scorer in Sam Dower.
Zachary spin to the baseline, missed it, tip back hard, no good. Back up, there's Dower. And he digs it out in the corner and now needs help. Got it to Carter with 30 on the shot clock.
And you love that effort, too. Successive offensive rebounds. Take advantage of your size.
Wide open. Carter, Zachary flush.
It's a great job by Carter to get the big to guard him on that pick and roll. Rob slipped, rolled. Great delivery.
Here's Tremaine Johnson, just beyond the free throw line, missed a jumper. Shot up, and now headed to the free throw line is Cliff Ettering.
Wow, Eastern is struggling right now from the field. I believe that's 2 of 7. Let's take a look at this highlight. You said it, Dan. Good screen. Carter just holds it long enough, lets him get to the rim. That's an easy play. That's the easiest 2 points Rob's going to get tonight.
Well, he found the angle, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he moved to find the angle.
Just patience with it, you know. Take that extra dribble, take that slight pause, let your big get to where he needs to be. Don't deliver that pass too early. Just a nice play.
They had great spacing on all parts. Weak side wing, strong side wing. Sam Dower, good enough offensively to create the defense having to pay attention to him, which gave Robert all that room.
Ettering hit them both. We're tied at 8. And now into the game, another freshman for Mark Few. Gary Bell Jr., number 5 out of the west side of the state of Washington. Coach Few really likes this kid as well.
As he should. Kid's talented.
Here's Zachary to the middle. Little fall away, short. Tipped by Dower. Tipped it out to Pangos. There's Bell driving and a hand check called here. Well, this is on Eastern Washington again.
Well, the thing is I think Gary Bell, for a freshman, already understands the game extremely well. Eastern is almost in the bonus. Put some dribble pressure on them. Make them call a foul if you're a referee. So right now, you get one more foul and you're shooting free throws.
Force the issue a bit sometimes, particularly when you're close to that bonus or in it.
Number 2 on Kevin Winford, 6 on Eastern Washington. Try to go inside, tough pass for Dower. And this is Johnson trying to take it himself. Not the guy I don't think that Jim Hayford wants handling the ball.
No, if you look at Coach Hayford right now, he looks a little puzzled, a little confused as to why the big man wouldn't give it up there on the break.
6'7", 200 out of Los Angeles.
And probably their most talented players, Tremaine Johnson. I mean, he's multi-talented, can play multiple positions. Probably their best athlete, definitely their best athlete up front. He just struggles with finding that consistency. Last year, just so many peaks and valleys to his productivity. If he can find a more level, be more level with his productivity, he's going to have a great season for him.
That foul on Johnson, his first. That's 17 fouls now on Eastern. So Gonzaga with 13:24 to play in the first half. They're already into the bonus, and Pangos hits the first end. I don't know, we just had a tight shot of his face, Dan. Now, let the hair go a little bit, throw a little something in there, and I hear him most compared to a young Dan Dickau. You agree?
Do you want me to be excited about myself when I played, or do you want me to be subtle? I think he's got a chance to be a very good player. He's a young freshman, but we'll see. I think he's going to be very good.
Johnson fighting his way in there, ties the game at 10. And another whistle.
I will say this about Kevin Pangos, though. You know, for him to be having the opportunity to play major minutes for a top 25 program as a freshman is something that I didn't have. I started off at the University of Washington playing behind 2 seniors, and it looks like he's going to have a great opportunity to learn early in his career, and that's only going to help him and Gonzaga down the road.
That foul on Ettering, his second, 8 on Eastern. Zachary back at the free throw line.
Yeah, I think you got to get these freshmen, throw them in the fire right away. Get these kids seasoned and It's a long year. By the time you get to conference, these kids play some major minutes in this non-conference schedule. They're not going to be playing like freshmen any longer.
Well, at the guard position, he doesn't have any choice.
No, I agree. I mean, he's got to do it, but just live with it, live with the mistakes, because you know they're going to make some. But I think in the long run, like Dan said, it's going to be you're going to get a lot more positives out of it than not.
So we've been pumping Zachary up at the free throw line, and he's missed a couple. Here's another steal, another turnover by Eastern Washington. Bell, that was off his knee. There's a turnover for Gonzaga, and it goes back to Eastern Washington, tied at 10.
We talk about
I'm sorry, Dan, but Gonzaga with 1 turnover, Eastern with 3. Go ahead.
We talk about the potential of the Gonzaga guards and Bell and Pangos. The nice thing is Coach Few doesn't have to start them either. I think if those guys start, it's going to throw even more pressure on them and put them in a difficult spot to develop earlier in their freshman year than probably necessary.
Johnson called for the travel. Actually, that's 5 turnovers for Eastern. Not 3, as I said a moment ago.
Yeah, I think that stat monitor is a little slow.
It is very slow. In fact, it's frozen. It's so slow, it's frozen. It hasn't moved in several minutes.
That was kind of my speed when I played sometimes, right, Dan?
The biggest problem is
you weren't slow. You were extremely slow.
Thank you.
And the travel by Gary Bell. Turnover number 4 by Gonzaga.
And Gary, now that's his second turnover, and he's sped up right now. Yeah, that's something that's going to take some time. It can be a game, half dozen games. This really depends on the kid. But you see him right away on his catches. First thing he wants to do is put the ball on the ground and get to the rim. Take a half second, read the defense. Sometimes in your first game, first half, just keep moving the ball. Take some jump shots. But right now, just too rushed.
I don't know what it is about Eastern Washington, Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga has won 23 consecutive games against Eastern. You have to go back to 1990, the last time the Eagles beat you. But it seems like they've had some of the epic games over the years, too.
Yeah, Ray Giacoletti was there. Those were some great ball clubs. That team went to the NCAA tournament and the NIT.
Shot away off the glass by Shiverton. Rebounded Pangos. Trying to work his way through a crowd. Here's Bell, open 3, wing. Rebounded Jeffrey Forbes.
Good shot, though. I like that from Gary Bell.
Again, the shot from the baseline by Shiverton. Missed another one. Wide open. Colimon. That's long. Tipped out by number 25, Jordan Hickert. And it's Gonzaga basketball.
Immediate timeout here. 11:29 left. Let's take a look at this dunk earlier in the game off the pick and roll. Rob Zachary off the great feed. 2 points. 10-10. 11:29 left. Come back and talk about the rebounding.
Yeah, where are we at here?
They're turning it over, but we can't take advantage of it. I can't believe it's a tie game.
Eastern 10, Gonzaga. Points off turnovers. 6-0.
So I mean, it's a toss-up, but still.
Okay.
Oh, you want to go shooting?
They're shooting 3 of 10, 30%. Gonzaga's 2 of 13, 15%.
Jeez. Throw that thing up left-handed, you might throw it in there.
And welcome back. This portion of the game brought to you by Numerica Credit Union. Open your Gonzaga checking account only at Numerica Credit Union. Details at banklikeabulldog.com. Heister, Dickow, and Fox. And there's Craig Elo, the man who used to be sitting in this chair next to me, occupied by Fox and Dickow now.
Well, we got some big shoes to fill because I know you guys did a great job for a number of years.
Love working with him. He's one of the best humans I know. And I just question his sanity, though. Leaving the broadcast booth to go be an assistant coach in college basketball.
It takes a little courage.
Well, he's a competitor. He played, I think, 14 years in the NBA because he competed like heck.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's one of the things that drew him into the coaching ranks. There's not much competition in the booth other than me and Foxy trying to get the best words in tonight.
Tough pass there for Dower to handle. That's a turnover number 5, I believe, for Gonzaga.
Yeah, that's been a problem here to start this first game of the year now. About 9 minutes in, 5 turnovers, and a lot of those are just unforced, careless turnovers. Part of those are jitters, but just sloppy play at times offensively for GU.
3 of the last 4 possessions resulting in turnovers. And Gonzaga not shooting it well either. 15%. Colimon inside. Missed that. Pangos with the rebound. Up court, Stockton. Bounce pass was kicked.
An interesting look here, Dan. You got both your 2 point guards out there on the floor at the same time. We've seen Coach Few do that throughout the history of this program, but I'm not sure I anticipated seeing it this early, but it's...
I didn't anticipate it 8.5 minutes into the season, but at the same time, they're 2 guys that are very smart, know how to play the game, and they're going to get you into offense.
Gary Bell from the corner. That's a 2.
A big shot for him to
his first
wide
career
open
point
jump shot. Exactly.
See if
See
he
that ball
down
go
a
in,
little bit. Yep.
build some confidence from here. I look for big things from him this season.
Last 4 or 5 possessions, GU's been in this 2-3 zone, and Eastern struggled.
Shiverton. That's a 3 from the wing.
That jinxed them.
And Eastern with their first lead at 13-12.
Well, you attack a zone, you want to try to get in the paint. Eastern's been passing around the perimeter, taking threes, and that time they got it to drop.
And Shiverton has struggled tonight, but he's a guy they're really high on. His first bucket, now 1 of 5 from the field. But he's got a chance to be special.
Hickert and Dower got tied there. Foul called on Hickert. That's 9 team fouls on Eastern Washington. Gentlemen, I ask you this question. But 2 point guards on there. Your team is struggling to score. Do you get 2 guys who can feed the post, get an easy bucket, find a rhythm? Is that possibly why there's 2 point guards?
That, and I think the fact that they can both those guys are pretty good with the ball. For the most part, they value possession of the basketball, so maybe you're hoping just to get through your sets, get some good looks, particularly this early in the game, let guys settle down. I'm sure that's part of it.
I mean, they've taken 14 shots. You got Zachary with 3, Harris with 1. Well, I mean, there's only 4 attempts from inside. The rest are jump shots.
I mean, they need shot makers right now, not shot takers. Unfortunately, no one's putting the ball through the hoop, so hopefully maybe with 2 point guards they can penetrate the defense and get some easy looks.
We got a foul called there on Eastern. That's 7 turnovers now.
Oh, that's a bad call.
That's 1 on Colimon.
That is
his first.
That is a bad call, but you know what? Again, freshman Gary Bell, crafty, steps in, sells it as a charge. That's a good play by him.
Under the 10-minute mark, and we're tied at 13. Gonzaga, Eastern Washington. That was almost a turnover there by Shiverton, who deflected the ball, who actually hit the official in the derriere. So advantage Gonzaga there, a little home court advantage.
It's giving him the evil eye. I wouldn't do that, so just walk away. Give him,
That happens. Yeah, he wanted the dunk, but you probably want the win more.
I mean, that official's relatively in good physical condition. I mean, it's not a big caboose that he hit there. It's not going to happen often, is the point. Here's Pangos.
Eastern's defensive pressure is really picked up on the perimeter. We'll see how Gonzaga does handle it with the 2 point guards.
Harris missing from the elbow, but again, another jump shot, gentlemen.
Yeah, and a tough jump shot at that. Just not really a good look. I like to see Elias be aggressive, but you want to be smart with that, and that's just not a good look.
I mean, I don't claim to know much, but if your advantage is height, there's a shot from the corner, a 3-ball by Shiverton, and again, Eastern's now building their lead. But if your strength is inside, your advantage is inside, shouldn't you be shooting inside? Like Pangos getting in there now. What do I know?
What do you know? Well, I'm going to give you a little more credit than that. I think you're right. You want to get the ball into the paint, but you can do that in a number of ways. You can throw it into the post, on the post up, a seal, a duck in, a roll off a pick and roll, or you can get into the paint by penetration. That time it was penetration by Kevin Pangos. Early in the game, Rob Sacre did a great job posting up, sealing, getting the ball down low, putting them in foul pressure. I think Eastern's pressure has really picked up, taking Gonzaga out of their offense to where they can comfortably get the ball from the pass from the perimeter down to the inside.
8:53 to play first half. Eastern with a 1-point lead. You're going to take a look now at the preseason Wooden Award list. We've got another Zag on there this year, and it's Elias Harris. I can't remember the last time there wasn't a Zag on that preseason award list, but I mean, look at this now. I mean, this isn't a great run. This is tradition, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really, this is not about a great run anymore.
Well, it's a program. It's one of the best programs in the country. I never forget we went to New York while we were seniors, and you go to the Foot Locker there and buy a Zag shirt. You know, right next to Syracuse, St. John's. It was crazy.
There's a 3 attempt by Jordan Hickert that was off. Loose ball picked up by Sacre. Harris also on the Naismith Award list. Try to go a little high-low, but Sacre up beyond the 3-point line. And we got another whistle and another foul on Eastern Washington. They're really racking them up here.
Yeah, and so far hasn't hurt them, though. They're up 1 here with 8:32 left, but there's an attrition factor here. At some point, not only does it wear you down physically, but you run out of bodies on that bench, and that's not – Eastern doesn't have great depth, particularly on that front line, so you may not be seeing it on the scoreboard quite yet if you're GU, but in the long run, this is going to have a real positive impact on your efforts.
Pangos and Bell out of the game for GU. Marquise Carter back on the floor along with Mike Hart. Elias Harris at the free throw line, missing the first end. That last foul was on Ederain. And Dan, first point of the game by your X Factor.
It's true. I think they're keying on him. But he hasn't taken great shots yet. You saw a couple possessions ago, he kind of forced one up. Let's get him into the spots where he's very efficient, and that's off the elbow, that's on the block, that's off pick and pops.
That should be an over and back. It was. Turnover. It'll be Gonzaga basketball.
Who's right there in the mix of things? David Stockton. Just pressuring the ball, just hounds you. You know, and it's remarkable because, you know, you don't look at David and say, boy, he's got quickness like even a Dimitri Goodson last year. He was so good getting up into the ball. But if he can do this consistently, he's going to cause teams a lot of problems at that point guard spot.
You know, sometimes when you can play, you can just play.
Yeah, that's true. And I do think that sometimes athletic ability, too much gets made out of that. Can you play? And he's a kid who can play.
Well, 3 fouls on, sorry, Dan, 3 fouls on LaRon Griffin. That's a huge development for Eastern Washington. That's 10 team fouls. Gonzaga now into the double bonus. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, we talk about the sports in general. So much of it has gone to statistical analysis, and that's size, strength, how quick a guy is, what exactly is his shooting percentage, his assist to turnover, all these different things. And those are great, but at the end of the day, there also is a it factor. Does that guy understand how to play? And David Stockton, without a doubt, has that it factor, and he knows how to play.
It is definitely a feel thing, and you got to give this coaching staff credit because no one else was going to give David the opportunity. But he ends up here at this top 20 program. Sacre with 7 points now, 5 of them coming from the free throw line. And there's Carter from behind, taking it away from Colimon, and the finish. Timeout, Eastern.
Just Eastern uncomfortable all over the floor. And you see right there, Coach Hayford trying to get a word in with Tremaine Johnson, just trying to tell him to settle down. He has been turnover prone throughout this first half.
Gonzaga on a 7-0 run.
Well, what are you guys seeing now?
What are you seeing defensively from Gonzaga? That's a question mark coming in. What are we seeing?
Right now, Gonzaga's picked up their pressure in the last couple minutes. I think when Mike Hart and David Stockton check back in, they've gotten more aggressive defensively. I think you also throw into the mix that I don't think Eastern is as organized on the offensive end as they'd like to be. The last couple possessions, you take the last one, for example, Tremaine Johnson's bringing the ball up the floor and making decisions and driving down the sideline, picking his dribble up. That's not what you want in this environment, in this setting if you're Eastern. What you want if you're Eastern is you want to get into your offensive sets, you want to be as efficient as you can, limit turnovers that don't lead to easy baskets is exactly what Gonzaga just got on that possession.
And you see it right there. 10 points off of turnovers for GU, and Now up 4 in the ball game. And to touch on that point again, Dan, that ball pressure, but also you look at guys like Rob Zachary, Mike Hart, David Stockton. They all can take a scouting report. They all have a sense of what Eastern's trying to do, and they can go on the floor and anticipate. And they make up for maybe some physical limitations by just being able to read plays and get some steals that way.
Gonzaga's hit just 5 buckets out of 17 attempts. That's why the game's only a 4-point differential. And now we've got a timeout on the floor. 7:43 to play first half. A 5-second call. Gonzaga leading Eastern by 4. That seemed like a quick 5 seconds, didn't it?
Yeah.
And welcome back. 7:43 to play first half. Gonzaga hosting Eastern Washington. We'd like to welcome all our viewers now watching on Route Rocky Mountain. Of course, Northern Colorado, part of the Big Sky down there, so you know all about Eastern Washington. Greg Heister, Dan Dickow, Richard Fox. Guys, Gonzaga comes in ranked 23rd. You look at the numbers, we got a 4-point game. Why is it so close? There's a bucket, make it 6.
Oh, a couple different things. We talked about Gonzaga needs to dominate the glass. They've yet to do that tonight. I think Eastern, if you look at it, is out-rebounding them by a slim margin. Neither team has shot the ball well. That's typical of Eastern if you look at their stats last year. Gonzaga should be shooting the ball much better than they are so far.
Gonzaga on a 9-0 run. That's Cliff Colimon right down the lane with a left hand. Make it a 9-2 run now as Eastern breaks the run.
Colimon, the leading returning scorer for this Eastern ball club. You see it right there, can get himself to the rim.
Oh, this is great hustle right there by Tremaine Johnson.
Trying to make up for that turnover just a few possessions ago. And you see Craig Elo coming out. Give him a little high five.
Well, you guys saw Craig Elo play in the NBA. He was all about that. We're talking about the assistant coach for Eastern right there in the blue blazer and the khaki pants. But, I mean, he was all about hustle plays. He didn't play 14 years in the league because he's super talented.
I think he'd beg to differ with you on that one. He was super talented, but he also played extremely hard, and he really understood how to play the game. And I think that's one reason that Coach Hayford brought Craig onto that staff, is to instill that knowledge, to instill that passion, to instill that work ethic. And if these guys buy in and listen to what Craig's talking about, they're going to improve. The Eastern program will improve as well.
He was certainly, you can't play in the NBA without being talented. But
I don't think it happens by accident.
He earned every season that he got there in that league.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. 22-18 our score in Spokane, Washington.
It is still fun to bring up the shot. Michael Jordan over Craig Elo, though.
It'll never be forgotten, especially around here. Here's Jeffrey Forbes. Etterain thought about the three and now drives. Blocked from behind by Harris. And now David Stockton on the move. Hart right to the rim.
And how about the vision? Stockton just waits a half step, lets Mike fill in the lane, and just drops it off for the easy layup. And that's how Mike Hart's going to score. He's not a guy who's going to go and search out his looks, but he can score in transition off of offensive rebounds. You saw it right there. David with a great feed.
Colimon, the senior from Brooklyn, gave it up. Shot off by Jeffrey Forbes. Sacre, the rebound.
I think it looks like Coach Few must have got into him.
The lob to Harris. Look out!
They're starting to pick up the intensity defensively and push the ball on the rebounds and turnovers.
Gonzaga on a 13-2 run. Harris may have gotten a finger on another shot. And Gonzaga with the numbers, another lob!
The X factor, Mr. Heister. 2 straight alley-oops, getting his kennel club into an uproar behind us, Foxy. I can barely hear you.
How about Marquise Carter delivering 2 dimes in transition? And those are the types of plays that get this crowd going.
Colimon quiets the crowd. The senior from Brooklyn, New York.
I'm sure he's played in
around
atmospheres.
Harris, Sacre, another flush.
I think what you're starting to see now is, we talked about it, wearing down the other team. Guys don't want to pick up their 3rd foul in the first half. They don't want to put them on the free throw line again if you're a guard guarding penetration, so it's starting to really play out to GU's favor.
There's a charge. No, blocking foul. Called on Hart. I don't know about that call. We'll get another look at it. Tough call.
I don't mind that call, but you know what? I love the fact that Mike Hart sticks his nose in there, tries to get his chest in front and take another charge. That's how he's going to play big minutes this year for Gonzaga.
They got to play him. He's a walk-on. Every time he's on the floor, he does something.
Yeah, that's a great call. Something positive almost always happens while he's out there on the floor. And you know, the thing about a kid like Mike Hart is his effort and attitude is contagious. Other guys buy in. It's hard for Elias Harris to feel sorry for himself when he sees a guy like Mike Hart playing all out.
I think the beauty of Gonzaga's basketball program is they've allowed walk-ons to become a big part of this program. If you look at some of the guys that have done that over the years.
Hey, if you're struggling offensively, just start throwing it over the top of the defense, huh?
It looks pretty easy when you do it like that.
He looks healthy to me.
He does. Oh, I tell you, the guy, when Elias Harris is right, he's electrifying. Colimon bangs in a couple of free throws. Gonzaga, just a few moments ago, was shooting about 15%. They've made 7 in a row now. Lead it by 7.
If you look at where those buckets are coming from, though, they're coming from dunks and layups.
Gary Bell trying to get in there now, and does.
That's big time. Shot fake, 2 strong dribbles, gets himself to the rim, and I like his approach. Struggled right away in his first few minutes on the floor. Now coming off the bench, seems more relaxed, settled, has a rhythm. Make the game easy for yourself. Take it to the rim, get yourself comfortable.
Jeffrey Forbes into the corner. 15 on the shot clock.
They are much more active defensively, 1 through 5 right now. This is really good.
Etterain working on Sacre, threw a wild one. Stockton the other way. Boy, right into the paint. Carter missed the easy one. Bell with the rebound. New clock. Harris, open 3.
Funny what a couple dunks do for you, isn't it?
You get a layup, you get a dunk, you get a free throw, all of a sudden that basket looks much bigger. 3-pointer, not a problem.
Elias Harris, 8 points, 3 rebounds. And guys, we can talk about Harris. Had that great freshman year. Everybody started calling him about an early entry lottery pick, NBA guy. Then he got dinged last year. Even though the numbers weren't so bad, he had to have that great finish to the season where people were still feeling good about him.
Well, you didn't see plays like those last couple dunks. You didn't see a lot of them, right. I should say. Not nearly as many as his freshman year. But I think people forget he ended the year well. He finally got himself, I think, into game shape. Felt healthy for really the first time in the last month of the year. And you saw in the tournament 2 games, nearly 17 points per game and 8 rebounds, and shot an impressive 65% from the field. So on a big stage, he stepped up. I mean, you see it. You see that talent. What you want to see it, though, is more consistency with it throughout the course of an entire season.
And Dan, you had Ronny Turioff to get the crowd into it, throw it in there, and let him do what Harris has done in this game. It's important when you talk about the emotional aspect of this game. Get the crowd into it, make noise.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're in an atmosphere like the Kennel where one or two big-time plays gets them going even more. As a player, that really gets you energized.
Look at Kevin Pangos down there battling with Cliff Etterain for that rebound. Hey, now remember now, Pangos played a little hockey growing up. Oh, now Etterain with the bump.
That's a silly play.
That's just not a very smart play.
It's going to be Etterain's third foul. Really no need to do that. That's just a good play going for a loose ball, and he gets upset. Can't afford to do that if you're Etterain or Eastern Washington. You got to keep your composure in a big game like this.
Yeah. Wrap it to commercial, correct?
Yeah.
I can't hear you sometimes, so it's hard.
So when Chauncey's talking to any of us, it's cutting all of our mics in our ears, so I can't hear you if you're going to throw it to break. So he just needs to tell me, that's all. It's all good. Hey, just like that, Gonzaga.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were like,
It was 15%.
do they have a stat sheet from, like, say, the 12-minute mark?
They
or
won't.
something?
We'll have to. If they would bring us paper copies, we would. There you go. Brock's the best. Best. Tonight's game brought to you by Yolks Fresh Market. Stop by to pick up your Gonzaga game day supplies containing items perfect for watching the game and cheering on the Zags. One lucky fan each week caught shopping at the Gonzaga game day supplies display at Yolks Fresh Markets will win tickets to a Zags home game. And guys, Elias Harris, just 8 points, but they've been important, electrifying. This crowd's crazy. I'm kind of crazy.
Well, they're buckets that he needs to make sure he gets these kind of buckets every game, because then it'll make some of the other things easy. We've talked about it a number of times already. Get yourself to the free throw line. Get yourself layups. Get yourself dunks. And then that three-pointer you just saw becomes that much easier.
And now Mark Few with Carter, Pangos, and Bell at the guard position. Harris to the bench. Dower and Sacre are in there. And, you know, Marquise Carter just 2 of 8 shooting, but you can see he's got great feel for this game too.
3 assists.
And now we've got a technical foul called.
No, he's going to shoot the free throws from the technical foul before he went to break. Etterain got called for a tee. He got tangled up in Pangos. I think they're shooting the free throws now.
Well, you talk about Carter. I think that's the benefit that he has over Gary Bell and Pangos right now, is he's played in the system that Coach Pugh has, and he knows these other guys, and so he's been able to kind of right the ship when there's been a couple possible traps or different things, knowing how to stay out of pressure.
I also think he's used to the speed of the game, and that's something that's going to take some time for these younger guys to get accustomed to. It's nice to have a senior out there that you know is going to be comfortable with this kind of pace, because Eastern, quite frankly, is putting on quite a bit of pressure defensively.
It's true. This is not Carroll College.
No.
Here's Pangos. Eastern Washington with 13 team fouls. Gonzaga with 5. Trying to go to Dower, threw it too far again.
And that's a tough pass. You know, give it a look, maybe take a dribble to that baseline, see if you can create yourself an angle, or just swing it. Throw the ball back up top. Sam's going to keep working. All these bigs do an excellent job. If they don't get the ball initially, they don't quit. They'll continue to post throughout a possession. There'll be other opportunities. For Gary Bell, have a little more patience. Don't try to force feed the ball inside.
And Dan, feeding the post is an art. I mean, not all guards can do that.
No, you got to get the ball into your entry areas. Then you've got to read angles because you might need to take one extra dribble one way or the other another time. You might ball fake after you pick up your dribble, or you just swing it to the next guy who has the proper angle.
Boy, that's a deep three by Colimon. And I believe that was Sacre, the 7-footer, out under him, too.
He could do that. 38% from the three-point line last year. Shooting the three-point shot is definitely a strength of his game, and you've seen that tonight. I believe that's his second three.
Foul called here on Jordan Hickert. It's team foul number 14. Gonzaga will shoot 2 more free throws.
See, we've been in the bonus now for about 12 minutes. Gonzaga has double bonus for quite a while as well, and one thing they're really doing is creating fouls off the ball on Eastern. You know, many times you think, well, you can only get to the line by dribble penetrating and creating a foul with the defender on you, but that's not the case. Create contact away from the ball, make the ref make a decision, and so far Gonzaga's done a good job of that, creating fouls off the ball.
Sacre 5 of 8 now from the free throw line. That's an 80% shooter, better than 80% a year ago.
How about this? 8 free throws in the first half. That's impressive from anybody, let alone your 7-footer.
No, usually you get a lot of free throws at the end of a close game. You're a point guard. You go get that ball. You make sure you get a few extra points at the end.
Jermaine Johnson dials up the long three, no good. Hickert had the rebound. It goes out of bounds and possession stays with Eastern. New clock. 2:30 to play first half. And you can tell with Eastern guys, I mean, they don't get easy buckets out of this offense. They don't have that guy they can just throw it to and score. And there's a turnover, another one.
I think a large part of this Eastern Washington offense is predicated on getting out in transition. But when you're making baskets like GU is right now, it's awfully tough to get out and get easy shots when you're taking the ball out of the rim.
If you make a basket on the offensive end, it's much easier to get your defense set.
Exactly.
It's a team that's been picked to finish 3rd in the Big Sky behind Montana and Weber State. And there's Carter, who was clobbered by Johnson, and now Colimon almost beat him to that ball.
Carter's got to chase that ball down. I know he was hoping to get a foul on that, but you've got to know that your defender, not just the big, is going to try to get themselves back into the play. So that's not something you want to see right now if you're Coach Few and his staff.
A little more urgency going to pick up the loose ball is
Without
probably
a doubt.
what they're looking for.
Nearing the 2-minute mark. And, you know, when you're an offensive player and you're shooting 2 of 8, I mean, you're frustrated already, right?
Yeah, you are, but stay aggressive. Find a way to find an easy bucket, whether it's, like we said, get in the paint, get fouled, get a layup.
And it's a 7-point game with that bomb from the corner from Shiverton. Here's Carter driving. Tried to reverse it, and now will shoot free throws.
Tough foul.
Man,
Johnson came over, swung down.
He got into the paint, created that contact, and again, Eastern, Tremaine Johnson, not playing great position defense, goes up, fouls him, bails Marquise Carter out of a situation where maybe didn't have an easy basket to be had.
Yeah, there's a fine line for a coach. You want your kids to really put forth effort, you know, put out defensively, but you've got to be able to play defense without fouling. And here in the first half, just Eastern's had all kinds of problems. I mean, the effort's there, but at times they're just overmatched physically. But like you just talked about there, Dan, that's just a silly foul. You know, Marquise Carter's out of control. Challenge the shot, but there's no need to try to get the block.
That is, you can tell his stroke is off a little bit tonight. That first free throw had to use a lot of rim to get down. That one looked good. He'll get it going. 7 points.
Yeah, but you like he's doing other things.
Yeah.
You know, something that can get frustrating for a coach is a guy who's one-dimensional, has to do one thing well to bring something to the table.
There's another bomb. Wow. This one from Colin Shiverton.
He and Colimon both with 12, and Shiverton's got things going here late.
Tried to lob it again, this time to Bell. 6-point game in Spokane. Carter lost the handle. That's an over and back. That ball was not knocked out of his hand. He just lost it.
And Marquise can make plays with the pass, but he's not a point guard. He struggles against ball pressure when he's trying to get GU in the sets, and you've seen it now a number of times. He just gets flustered against that defensive pressure. Now you put him off the ball on a quick ball screen, or if he's taking the ball to the rim, he can make some plays that way. But at that point guard position, he's just not nearly as comfortable as a David or a Kevin Pangos.
So Eastern now a real opportunity as we hit the 1 minute mark to play in the first half, trailing Gonzaga by just 6. Gonzaga had extended that lead out into double figures. Here's Johnson on Sacre, almost traveled with it. Colimon over Stockton, that shot's way off.
Just a bad offensive possession for Eastern there. Really no ball swings to speak of, no ball screens. And against this GU defense tonight, you got to do a lot more than just dribble the ball and look to get yourself a jump shot. You've got to work as a unit.
So there's about 8 seconds differential between the two clocks. Bell wide open top three. That one's long. It was on but long.
That's still a good shot. You know, you'd like to maybe milk the clock a little bit further, but you're that open at the top of the key that Gary Bell gets to shoot that every time.
Eastern will play for one here.
Now Gonzaga has a foul to give in this situation. Let's see if they read that.
What a shot. Colimon appeared to have slipped Stockton at the buzzer.
Yeah, but at that point in time, you've got one foul to give. Take that foul, have them take the ball out on the sideline with 5-6 seconds left and see if they can have an opportunity to create a good shot in that short clock amount of time.
Colimon 15 points in that first half, 5 of 10 shooting, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. As we take another look, he almost slipped there.
It actually looked like he traveled.
It did.
We can get another close-up on your feet.
Well, you know, Cliff Colimon led him last year, 10.4 points per game. We haven't talked about it yet, but with Glenn Dean leaving, he's the guy who's got to step up more than likely in that backcourt, be that leading point guard, that leading scorer rather.
Eastern Washington ends that first half on a 12-3 run. They cut into this Gonzaga lead. It is now 3 after the first 20 minutes. 38-35 halftime from Spokane and the McCarthy Athletic Center. When we come back, stay with us. Wow, terrible ending to that first half. They had him.
Up 12, weren't they?
Yeah, they got to extend. It's weird though.
Are we putting our jackets back on?
If one does, we all do. So
I'd rather not.
Rather not. Let's stay.
Let's do it. Let's put it on. Oh, you got to roll them up, huh?
Yeah. No, I don't.
We got to get you some stripes in your shirt or something.
I got some shirts
Texture,
coming. I got my guy in Denver sending me some shirts.
Oh, my guy.
My guy in
I had to get them all made.
What is their total?
Colin Shiverton.
7 for 11 combined.
Colimon. Let me just lay it down. Lay it down. That's dead.
Can we put this right there? Yuck.
What?
That's what it's playing right now.
Sit back now. There you go. Hey fans, stop by Papa Murphy's on Gonzaga game days for the slam dunk deal. Get a large 3-topping pizza for only $9. Papa Murphy's take and bake pizza, handmade in our kitchen, home baked in your oven. Greg Heister, Dan Dickau, Richard Fox. We are courtside after the initial half between Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. Gentlemen, we got a 3-point game, a good one. And it's Eastern Washington who's come out. They started dreadfully slow offensively. Could hardly hit a shot, but boy, they ended on a 12-3 run, and two guys really red hot from behind the arc.
Well, I mean, you look at it, Colimon and Shiverton, Colimon with 15, Shiverton with 12. The three-point line is where they've done the most damage. Overall, Eastern 7 of 14, but all 7 of those makes coming from those two guys. They've just found a rhythm after struggling to start this ball game. And GU, for the most part, early on, did a nice job challenging the three-point line, but they got away from it, and Eastern made them pay. We talked about it at the Open. Eastern Washington does a nice job attacking from the three-point line. Last year, nearly 22 three-pointers attempted per game.
And Dan, Gonzaga did not make a field goal in the final almost 4 minutes of that first half, but in the middle part of the half, they didn't really get points in the paint. They got points above the paint.
You're exactly right. They didn't get points in the paint. They were above the rim, finishes, layups, dunks, that kind of thing. But good teams finish out halves. And by what I mean by that is Gonzaga was up 10, 12 points with about 3-4 minutes left. They didn't get any more good shots. They didn't score. They didn't get to the free throw line those last couple minutes. And in turn, that's when Eastern finished on a 12-3 run to draw us into a tight ball game at half.
You had to figure that Gonzaga's advantage against Eastern was going to be inside, and so Eastern had to start shooting threes. That's the only place they scored in the final 7 minutes and 48 seconds of that first half. Ended on a 12-3 run. We got a three-point ball game in Spokane. Come on back. I don't know. And welcome back to the McCarthy Athletic Center on the campus of Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington. We got a three-point game between Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. Greg Heister, Dan Dickow, and Richard Fox. We are courtside. Gentlemen, I'm a guy who thinks we ought to take that preseason poll stuff and just don't do it until conference play starts, because we really don't know how good anybody is yet. Is this Gonzaga team, the way it's built right now, a top 25 team, do you think?
On November 11th, 2011, no.
No.
But in about a month from now, without a doubt, they will be a top 25 team. Young guards, get them acclimated, get them comfortable, playing with the bigs in the proper spacing and the proper ideas and philosophies, and they're going to be a very good team.
Richard, do you think?
I'd agree. I mean, very few teams are clearly that good at this time of year. It takes a season to really get a feel, at least to have that non-conference schedule. But I do think this is a team that will end up the year probably where they're starting. maybe they'll end up 18, 19, but probably somewhere in the 20s. This is a good ball club, a chance to do some special things. So, I think they'll justify it by the end of the year.
And both of you guys played here. You understand player development. I mean, really, that's what Gonzaga is all about. Mark Few has proven that he's one of the best in the country at it, 13 seasons as a head coach, and what he's done here, you have to figure he's got a great piece of clay to work with, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Without
great.
a doubt.
When you
Great
see,
pieces.
yes, all these different pieces, and you can see where Few now is stacking up after 13 seasons. I mean, number 5 all time.
I mean, you look at the names on that list.
Yeah.
I think all 4 of those guys above him are in the Hall of Fame. Not saying that Coach Few's going to be there.
He will be.
If he continues at this pace, there's a pretty darn good chance he will be. I wouldn't mind introducing him at the Hall of Fame, but the problem is you have to be inducted yourself. So I would look for John Stockton to do that.
Yeah. Well, I've often said that this is the house that Dickow built.
Really?
I've heard that from you before, Greg. I appreciate the words.
Yeah, there's John Stockton. But Richard, really, I mean, that may be what this program's been all about, is just player development. They're not getting blue chippers here. I mean, they're not getting top 50 guys. It's rare.
Very often. I mean,
Right.
very rarely. Austin Day was one of those types of kids. I think
Yeah.
Pargo was right there. Gary Bell is one of the higher rated recruits. But for the most part, you're looking for diamonds in the rough. Guys who are talented that clearly are good players, but guys that it might take a season, it might take 18 months for them to really mature and become an impact player. But the nice thing is when you're not recruiting some of those blue chip guys, they stay for a long time, 4 years, 5 years if they redshirt. And I think that consistency and having guys in your program for long stretches not only helps you while they're here, but when you start bringing those younger guys in, they get to learn how it's done. And I know that was really valuable for me coming in as a transfer. There were guys not only on the current ball club, but guys still in the community, and they did a nice job of letting me know how things should be done. So it was invaluable.
We're at the half in Spokane. Gonzaga with a 3-point lead on Eastern Washington. The Eagles really got it going from behind the arc, but Elias Harris hit one as well. And wow, did he get it going halfway through that first half. We'll be right back. 38-35 our score. Tonight's halftime stats brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Casino. Can't make the game? Watch it with us. All televised Gonzaga games are at the Coeur d'Alene Casino. Great prizes, drink specials, and $4,000 in GU ticket package giveaways. Only at the Coeur d'Alene Casino. Guys, what jumps out at you?
I think Eastern survived the first half. If they were going to win this game, they had to survive the first half. They survived a 15-2 Gonzaga run, 15 team fouls, and on the road, you're only down 3 at Gonzaga. They survived.
20 turnovers between the two teams. Second half, straight ahead, 38-35 our score. Welcome back to the start of the second half between Gonzaga and Eastern Washington. This has been a rivalry over the years. Even though Gonzaga has won 23 consecutive games against Eastern Washington, they have played in some great ball games, and this one is shaping up like maybe it could be the same.
Well, I think it's been more of a rivalry by geography rather than by competition recently.
Yes.
But Eastern's done what they had to do in the first half. If they can survive foul trouble early in the second half, they could have a chance tonight.
Anytime you get two programs that are this close to each other, regardless of the outcome, you know it's going to be an intense game. We've seen that there in the first half.
Here's Ederain on the post. Turns on Sacre. And Rob stood right up into him, but now Ederain got it to Colimon. Bounce pass, low post, knocked it away. 10 on the shot clock. Colimon missed everything. Gonna have to shoot it. 4 on the shot clock. They don't know. Taken away by Hart. 2-on-1. Hart. And now Harris runs it down for GU. Dives into the middle. A chance for 3.
Picking up right where he left off. There at the end of the first half. And that's the kind of effort they want to see from him. He chases down, doesn't assume a make on the layup. Hustles down to see, gets the long offensive rebound, and rather than looking to dish it off, just stays aggressive, gets the bump. A nice soft finish in the lane. That's the kind of plays you're looking to get from Elias Harris more consistently this year.
Again, early in the second half, you put foul pressure on the other team's bigs. It's going to pay off.
Well, you look at it, Dan. Griffin has 3, Ederain has 3, Johnson with 2, and Hickert with 3. I mean, foul trouble all along that front line. That doesn't bode well for the next 20 minutes for Eastern Washington.
LeRon Griffin actually now with 4 personal.
Is that his 4th right there?
His 4th. And it's a 6-point game. Colimon with it. You know he's going to start shooting soon. 15 points in that first half, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Sacre with a defense, but how about Shiverton's finish? That was a prayer that was answered. And it's a 4-point game. There's another lob to Harris. Eastern was ready for it. Jermaine Johnson on Stockton. Who's underneath there? Sacre taking the charge.
That's it. Good things have not happened tonight when Jermaine Johnson brings the ball up the floor. You know, I like the fact he's looking to take David off the dribble, but, you know, give it up to one of your guards. You're just forcing the issue right there. And Rob doing what Rob does, steps in, takes the charge. Give that ball up to a guy like Colimon or Shiverton. A guy like Johnson's much better playing off the ball. When he has the ball in his hand, particularly trying to bring the ball up the floor, he struggles, and we've seen that tonight. You know, we saw in the first half, we saw it right there.
It comes down to 3 words: know your strengths.
Yeah.
3 offensive fouls now on Johnson. On Eastern Washington. $18:30 to play, 4-point game. And Gonzaga picking up their first foul of this half. Shiverton.
Wow. I think he's feeling it.
Colin now with 17 points. He's 5 of 7 from behind the arc.
He's a kid they're high on. He's been a winner everywhere he's gone, and you see his talent tonight.
And the defense by Shiverton, that was his block. Carter can't get the roll.
When you're struggling right now on both ends for GU, you didn't finish the first half well. You're struggling here coming out the gates in the second half. That's when you need to show, have some maturity, run your offense, let your offense help you score.
Colimon, that was a long 3. Johnson got the rebound, up on Sacre, and Hart clears it away. Carter to shoot free throws. Was there interference with that ball or the rim?
I think they let it go.
That's what Coach Few's asking for right now. He's asking for defensive goaltending.
Now remember,
trying to sneak 2 more points on the board.
You don't have to touch the ball. If you go up for a block and you touch the backboard,
right,
as the ball's coming off the glass, you can consider that offensive interference. And I think that might be what he's asking for. Is he didn't touch the basketball necessarily, but by slapping the backboard, you can have an impact on the shot. You see it right here, comes out of nowhere, really has no play on the ball at all, and
that ball wasn't going to go in anyway.
It wasn't going to go in, but the rule states that
it is the rules. We talk about the difference in college and NBA and Europe rules. You've played in Europe,
yep.
And it's very interesting. The difference in the European game is that the ball's sitting on the rim. You can jump up as a defender and knock it off. It's a very interesting rule that guys like Elias, Sacre, Kelly Olynyk, who's not playing tonight, are used to.
So possession staying with Gonzaga there as the ball went out of bounds off of Eastern Washington. So with a 3-point lead, another opportunity now. Great catch, Sacre, and finish.
Great catch, and he slowed down. Didn't have control of the ball initially, but took his time and went up strong. And yet again, David Stockton's the guy delivering those passes into that low post for scores.
Ederain over Sacre. Harris with the rebound. Rob with 12 points now. Chance for 2 more. Oh, Harris! Hello!
What an explosive finish right there by Harris. He definitely looks healthy this year.
You got to put a body on somebody if you're Eastern when a shot goes up. It's not enough just to go watch the flight of the ball and hope to jump up and get the rebound. You got to lay some wood, put a body on somebody. If not, that's the type of play you're going to give up, particularly to a player like Elias Harris.
Johnson for 3. That one's off. Hart with a rebound. Carter will shoot free throws. You know, very few players in my years around Gonzaga get from the floor to the rim as fast as Elias Harris. There have been a few guys. Pargo, I think, was really good at it.
And the only big that I could think of is Casey. Casey Cowboy had that kind of just explosiveness, and it's
Anthony
not
Reason got up fast.
Yeah, he did.
Anthony
no one
Reason
remembers
could.
Anthony, but he was a great player. But it's not just the first jump. Elias, a lot like Casey, can go up, come down and go back up again and make plays above the rim.
The thing with Elias, I feel, if he can develop a isolation game off the elbow or a step or two off the block, he's going to really be able to use that explosiveness to get to the basket and get in foul pressure and finish plays as well.
Harris with another rebound now. That's number 7. And then the turnover. And Eastern almost gave it right back. Timeout, Jim Hayford, Eastern Washington.
And Hayford having a word with Tremaine Johnson saying, give it up, give it up. I love your effort, but let's learn from our mistakes.
47-39 our score. Hello, Elias Harris. Preseason, all wooden. We'll be right back.
Focus at halftime.
.25 to play. Gonzaga's lead now at 8, 47-39. Crowd starting to like what they're seeing out of Elias Harris, one of the international players now for GU. We've seen a few over the years, but now there seems to be a collection of international players here.
Yeah, Tommy Lloyd has done a great job of developing contacts over in Europe, and he's the main guy that goes out and recruits a lot of these guys from different parts of the world, and they've really found a lot of guys under the radar by going over to Europe and Canada.
Colimon missing the 3. He's cooled off a bit. Shiverton isn't.
Wow.
He hit another one.
Now it's 19. He has been almost the entire show here in the second half offensively for Eastern. Right now, with just no answer for him defensively.
Yeah, Shiverton now with 19 points. Here's Sacre, lost the handle. Harris up high to get it. Spins back to the middle. Somehow got a shot away. Hart with a rebound. Colimon and Hart fight over it. Out of bounds. Eagle basketball. I tell you what, Elias Harris has the vertical hops going tonight. 15:48 to play. We still got a ball game in Spokane. Thanks to Mr. Shiverton, 19 points, 5-point game. Here's tonight's Arby's trivia question. How many times have the Zags appeared on the AP preseason top 25 list? Is it 10 times, 9 times, 8 times, 7 times? Text your answer to 27297. We'll have the answer for you a little bit later in the show. Wow, I tell you, Colin Shiverton really feeling it now for Eastern Washington. He's a one-man show for the Eagles.
He is right now. He's got 13 of their last 16 points, 7 of their points in the second half. Most of that's coming from the three-point line. Close out with a hand up high, run him off the three-point line, make him take tough shots. That one right there, you see, you ran him off the line with a high hand. He still made it, so he is feeling it.
He's definitely hitting tough shots, 5 of 7 from the three-point line. And that's why you can't let up defensively. You give a guy like that who can score some easy buckets for a short stretch. Sometimes that's all he needs to get himself going for the rest of the game.
Johnson with the ball, guarded by Elias Harris. Colimon working on Bell. Uh-oh, Shiverton again, and he's fouled by Mike Hart. Shiverton's going to shoot free throws. Jeffrey Forbes slid into second.
Safe.
He was chuckling too, so I don't feel bad.
You see, coming out of a timeout, Coach Hayford had a set play designed for Shiverton coming up off a three-point shot. Got to know that coming off, know who the hot man is, and try to take him out of the play. If he's going to come off a double, take him off so he can't come off the double. Send him to where more of your help is.
And you hate to be hard on a kid like Mike Hart, who does just about everything right defensively, but you just can't foul a jump shooter, particularly when he's beyond the three-point line. There's no reason to make an effort to try to block the shot. Just try to distract him, get a hand in his face, or fly by. When you're beat, you're beat. Don't compound it by committing a silly foul.
3 fouls on Hart, 2 on Gonzaga this half. And Shiverton, gentlemen, just took his first free throw of this game. He's got 20 points, but only his first free throw. Even you got to the free throw line.
You got to get to the free throw line. The thing is though, how the game has played out so far is Gonzaga has gotten him in foul trouble and has tried to pound it inside through post-ups, through dribble penetration. Eastern's really just looking to shoot jump shots tonight. So when you're looking to just shoot jump shots, you're not going to have as many opportunities to get to the line.
And you talked about it, Greg. You lose Stephen Gray. Dimitri Goodson goes to play football at Baylor. Those are your 2 best on-ball defenders last season. Maybe 2 of the best you've ever had. Right now, GU having a tough time finding somebody who can provide that kind of pressure.
Shiverton hit all 3 as Colimon kicked that ball out of bounds. But for Eastern Washington, Colimon and Shiverton are the only 2 players to score in over 18 minutes.
You don't see that very often.
A basketball.
KYP. Know your personnel. Gonzaga needs to do a much better job locking in on those 2 guys. It's not in Coach Few's typical philosophy to go to a triangle 2, a gimmick defense like that, but focus in, key in on those guys and take care of them.
Well, I think what you can do as well is if you're a help side defender, KYP, know who you're guarding too. Know the personnel that you're defending. Maybe you can help off a guy like Jermaine Johnson, who tonight has struggled quite a bit now, 1 of 5, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. You don't maybe need to be out there on the three-point line. Look to be more of a help side defender when 2 guys like that have it really going offensively.
Harris at the free throw line. And Dan, we had talked in our pre-post production meeting that you thought Elias Harris had to be as good as he was as a freshman, but better. He looks like he's as good as he was as a freshman, but better to me tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely got that pop back in his legs. He's looking explosive. The one thing I'd like to see is a little bit more defined game. Most of his stuff so far has been easy layups, dunks, wide open threes. Throughout the course of the season, when those are taken away, you still have to find ways to score. And so he's going to really have to continue working on fine-tuning that part of his game, scoring against pressure.
14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists for Elias Harris.
That's the number I like, is the 7 rebounds. He's being active, particularly on the defensive glass. It's not enough just to assume Rob's going to go get those rebounds. You've got to put in work yourself.
LaRon Griffin draws the foul on Harris. Remember now, Griffin playing with 4 personal fouls, and he had a very aggressive mindset on that play.
Crowd doesn't like it. Elias looks confused.
It's a tough call.
It's a lot of contact. Guys turning, trying to make a quick move, and I know he's standing straight up. But with that kind of contact, it's hard for an official not to blow his whistle. still, I think a tough call for Elias. Looks like he had position.
2 on Harris, 3 on Gonzaga, and Griffin hits the free throw. Those are the first points in better than 18 minutes by someone other than Colimon and Shiverton.
Well, you see
he's
that
leaning in a little bit.
Yeah, he leaned into him a little bit. He also was in the restricted area. I don't think it was a potential charge call, but he was definitely leaning into him.
Eastern now 10 of 11 from the free throw line. That was their first miss. Pangos. Bell.
I'd like to see that one if he was in the restricted area, because it sure looked like it.
And Griffin just took that charge.
Well, I think at this point,
with 4 personal fouls.
I think at this point with Griffin, take a look at the play. A nice look up ahead. Bell just can't handle it, and it looks like Griffin's outside.
Easily got outside
that half circle, but at this point, it's all gravy. Whatever you can get from Griffin. I mean, he hasn't been able to really get a rhythm at all, give you extended minutes. If you can ride him out here for 4 or 5 minutes, you'd be happy with that. He's the type of player that needs to be aggressive. He's not a skill guy, he's an effort guy, and it's just really hard to take that away from a guy who makes his living doing that.
Gonzaga with 4 turnovers this half. It's Hackett for 3. And Eastern now with a 1-point lead with 14 minutes to play.
You got to know who you're guarding. You look at Hickert, that's all he does is shoot threes. That's why he's out there on the floor, and it's a freshman closing out. And you've talked about it, Dan, taking that scouting report, applying it when you come out to the floor. That's just a mistake defensively from Gary Bell.
Bell down to the baseline, and we have a whistle. He may have stepped on the end line. He did. Turnover, unforced.
And the thing offensively that I'm not seeing for GU is it has not been a good screening game offensively. Everything's been either penetrate, kick out, some stuff in transition, a lot of one-on-one stuff. You're not seeing guys help each other out by setting good screens away from the ball or on the ball.
1-point game.
2-3 zone defensively. GU had a lot of success in the first half with this look.
While you're in this, you've got to find shooters.
And there's another bomb from the corner by
They did not
Forbes.
find shooter, wide open in the corner. Forbes knocks it down.
This is the largest lead of the game for Eastern Washington, 52-48. And momentum has kind of swung the way of Cheney Washington right now.
Well, take a look at it here. Great quick pass. Elias just caught out of position, kind of in no man's land. He can't come out to Hickert, defend the shot. And Forbes there deeper in the corner. You've got to pick one guy or the other, and Elias got lost defensively. Eastern made him pay.
Eastern has made 8 of their last 13 threes. They've been red hot. And you got to figure, if you're going to go on the road, you want to beat a team that's on paper better than you are, you shoot the 3 well, and you got your chance.
Well, from the start, we talked about Eastern was going to have to shoot the ball well to have a chance to win the game. They were going to have to rebound the ball well. They rebounded it early. They shot it well early. They're not rebounding it as well now, but they're still shooting the heck out of it. And now you see a 4-point lead for Eastern. They've got confidence now in these last 13 minutes. They have confidence and belief that they can win this game.
And Gonzaga needs an easy one here. Get some rhythm offensively. There's Carter driving the lane. Throws up the shot. He'll shoot free throws, and that's it for number 15, LaRon Griffin. That's number 5. He's gone.
It's like a tough call there. It looked to me like he got there in time. Let's see if we can get a replay. But, you know, offensively, you know, you're struggling to get baskets. Take the ball to the rim. You know, Dan, when you're struggling offensively, sometimes you do have to force the issue a little bit, as you see the play here. And that looks like a good call from the official. He's still moving over to his left. And Carter does a nice job trying to avoid the contact, thus getting the foul.
Well, Carter struggled shooting the ball tonight. But when you're struggling shooting the ball, again, get to the paint, get to the foul. That's exactly what he did.
3 points, 5 rebounds for LaRon Griffin. And Carter now 4 of 9 from the free throw line, 9 points.
Well, we talk about getting to the free throw line. The next part is what, Greg?
Right, making them, right?
Making them.
It's the kid who shot over 83% last year, so you know he can knock these down. Just having an off night, really struggling, putting the ball in the hole.
Well, you know, he's the type of kid that's going to put a lot of pressure on himself because second half last year, I mean, he was as good as anybody on the team. Played great in the tournament. Newcomer in the West Coast Conference, tournament MVP. And this is his senior year.
Newcomer after playing basically half the conference season. That's impressive.
No call there. Sam Dower on the floor. Carter, that shot way off. Rebounded Shiverton. So Dower yet to take a shot for GU.
I was just looking at that. How unbelievable is that? And he's working to get the ball. And right there, he's open on the low block. You've got to get the ball inside. Fake a pass, make a pass, take a dribble, create an angle for yourself. The post entries tonight have not been good.
And there's Dower with the block. Great save, Pangos. Here comes Harrison Carter. He'll shoot free throws.
Great decision by Harris there to give that ball up on the break. You don't want to see your big taking 2 or 3 dribbles. 1 dribble max, give it to a guard. If he gives it back to you for the layup, for the dunk, great.
And I hope Tremaine Johnson's listening.
We'll see. I think Coach Hayford, I'm sure, has had another few words about a couple of those turnovers tonight.
So Marquise Carter finds himself back at the free throw line. 5 of 10 now. He's got to start making these down the stretch.
And he's done a nice job putting foul pressure on Eastern's guards. You know, and now with 11 free throws, looking to shoot his 12th. That's a high number of attempts at the free throw line, but for a guy who's shooting over 80% last season from the free throw line, you just can't miss this volume of free throws.
He will, though. I mean, he's a good
there's no
shooter,
doubt. He's
right?
struggling tonight. You know,
Yeah.
I don't believe this is indicative of the type of year he's going to have. I think he's going to be awfully good for GU. And he's done some other things well tonight. It's just been scoring the ball where he's struggled.
And now Gonzaga with the pressure. Now they back off.
Well, they got the ball out of the hands of the main ball handlers on Eastern.
Shiverton, this is a 2. That's short. Zachary the rebound.
But that's a nice effort from Mike Hart to run him off the three-point line. Much rather give up a long 2 than a 3 to Shiverton right now.
High-low.
Great job on holding your seal right there by Sam Dower. Wait for the ball to get swung from the wing back to the top. You hold your seal. The ball comes from the high-low. You'll finish it.
First field goal attempt and make for Dower. There's Colimon at the other end. That is a tough shot.
Tough finish.
I mean, it's not 7-foot Richard Fox coming at you now. It's 7 foot.
If I'm coming over, you're hitting the ground because I'm fouling you as hard as I can.
There's a turnover. And Forbes with it now for Eastern Washington, and smart play to slow it down.
Right now, tight game, up 1 with 11 minutes left. At this point, game management's going to come into play for Eastern. You want to make sure you don't do something silly and don't give yourself a chance to win the game at the end.
Johnson for 3.
You're Gonzaga, you like that shot.
Oh, you love
that shot.
Johnson now 1 of 6, 0 of 3 from the three-point line. He is, you understand why they got to play him. He's a talented kid, but he has struggled tonight.
10:52 to play. Eastern with a 1-point lead. Sam Dower his first field goal, but Colimon with the answer at the other end. We got a beauty in Spokane. Enter to win Gonzaga tickets throughout the season at Spokane area Subway stores. Win tickets to see the Zags versus Michigan State, Butler, Notre Dame, and more. Plus a grand prize including tickets to Gonzaga versus BYU, hotels, Subway cards, and more. Subway is a proud partner of Gonzaga Athletics. Eat fresh. Well, gentlemen, I'm not sure we thought it would be this good a game.
We did not think it was going to be this tight at this stage of the ball game. I think Eastern's kind of playing in a almost frenetic offensive style, not necessarily pushing the ball down the floor, but lots of pick and rolls, trying to get into the paint and create some things. And Gonzaga must do a better job of finding shooters.
And win or lose, the Jim Hayford era is starting with a pretty impressive effort. Now, here's Dower. That shot was blocked by Shiverton. He's been everywhere. And that one rolls off. Hart, the offensive rebound. Sacre now. He'll shoot free throws. But everybody on the rim for Gonzaga.
And that's what you want is, hey, you have a tough time scoring. One of the best places to get some easy buckets is off that offensive glass. And the nice thing with Mike Carter on the floor is, while he's there, he's playing the three spot. His mentality is much more of a power forward. So every time a shot goes up, in other words, he's looking to attack the rim. That's another offensive rebounder, and you saw it right there, unable to finish. But you love the effort. Both Sam, despite getting his shot blocked initially, stayed aggressive, and both Rob and Mike did an excellent job of attacking that offensive glass.
What was one of the keys today? Dominate the glass. They've started to do this in the second half, but they've got to clean it up on the defensive end if they're going to come out of here with a win tonight.
Yeah, you go from +3 in the first half to now you're +12 on the glass for GU. So slowly your size on the backboards is starting to take a toll.
But if you're going to get them on the offensive end, you got to score. They're shooting 40%. There's Johnson. That's a three for Eastern.
You knew he was due at some point.
Sacre running the floor, fouled by Johnson. And that's 5 on Tremaine Johnson.
Well, it's always nice to foul out the guy who just hit a three-point shot before he can test himself to see if he's on a roll. But again, that last possession for Eastern, they set it up into a double high pick and roll, give the point guard an opportunity to decide which way he wants to go. You come off, stretch the defense, make that secondary big help, gets Tremaine Johnson a wide open shot, puts Mike Hart on the weak side as a wing defender in a bind. Do I rotate up? Do I stay with mine in the corner? And that time he didn't rotate up. Tremaine Johnson had a wide open shot, knocked it down.
Yeah, you can put 4 shooters out there around one big. You're absolutely right, Dan. That puts Mike in an awfully tough spot because you're going to stop that initial look from Tremaine Johnson. All you're doing is giving up that next pass to an open shooter who can knock down that three-point shot.
This is a good test, though, for Gonzaga because in the WCC, a lot of teams are going to play a very similar style with 4 guys out being able to shoot the ball.
Sacre hits the first end. So it's Johnson and LaRon Griffin gone for Eastern Washington. Even though they bring Jordan Hickert now into the game, who's 6'9", Eastern's gotten a lot smaller with these guys falling out of the game.
Not nearly as physical around that rim. Hickert really more of a spot-up shooter. Doesn't do much else out there. It's nice to have a guy who can stretch out the defense. And Enderline's a hard-working big, but he's giving up a ton of size up front.
Colimon into the corner, Shiverton in and out. Here's Carter. Eastern, great job getting back. Pangos will shoot free throws.
Nice look. You got to finish that if you're Pangos, though. Go up strong. At this point in the game, you need all the buckets you can get.
And now Cliff Colimon picking up his 4th personal foul. We still have 9 minutes and 43 seconds to go. This may become a battle of attrition now for Eastern Washington down the stretch.
Well, I think Gonzaga's depth and size is starting to wear on Eastern. You see 2 of their bigs have fouled out. Now their starting point guard has 4 fouls. You're going to start to see guys pick and choose spots. Do I want to foul? Do I want to give up an easy basket here or there on the defensive end for Eastern?
You might just end up winning this game just because you're getting to the free throw line. This will be the 36th free throw attempted for GU tonight. That's an impressive number.
A lot of Gonzaga's points now coming from the line.
But you don't want to have a steady diet of that throughout the season to have success. You want to rely on it when you're struggling, not every day.
Shiverton lost the handle and still shot it. Tipped by Harris to himself. Pangos up court hard. He's got Carter, and Hart shoots it. Tipped off the board and grabbed by Jordan Hickert.
Not the shot you're looking for if you're Gonzaga. Mike Hart, that's not his game. You know, he's open, but right there, look to either get to the rim or look back down court, or rather up court, so you can find one of your guards. That's not the kind of shot you want.
Drive on Sacre, shot missed by Ettering. Marquise Carter now will set up the offense in the half court. Here's Harris. He'll shoot it. That was hard off the glass and it went in.
That's a great shot, and that can become a go-to kind of move, but I would like to see Harris stop in the middle of the paint, seal his defender at 3 feet, where he can shoot a little jump hook or dunk off a drop step rather than get to that ISO 2 steps off the block. Do you agree, Richard?
100%. Yeah, that's not really his game, quite frankly. You know, you wish you had a little more of that. He'd much rather step out to 15 feet and face up, but I do like the move. That slight jab fake gets the defense off balance, and he can make that shot.
8 on the shot clock before the ball started moving. Here's Winford driving, and he still scores with 4 on the clock.
You know, Winford had a great year last year for him, shot a ton of threes. He hasn't played much tonight, but he's a guy who can give you some three-pointers from the outside.
Harris missed the shot. Hart thrown out of the way, and no call. But the ball went out of bounds, but he was fouled. Grabbed and ripped backwards. 7:56 to play. 2-point game in Spokane. That's exactly what Heitfeld used to do. And welcome back to Spokane. Time now for our Arby's trivia question. How many times have the Zags appeared on the AP preseason top 25 list? The answer, 10 times. 99, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 07, 08, 2010, and 2011. Try Arby's new Ultimate Angus Philly today. Angus beef the way it was meant to be. Slow roasted, freshly sliced, and topped with classic Philly ingredients. Arby's, it's good mood food. Well, if you're an Eagle fan, you're in a good mood tonight. If you're a Zag fan, you should be in a celebratory mood tonight. I don't know how great a mood you're in because you expect to blow this team out or at least play better. But I tell you, Eastern's going to win a lot of games. I mean, this is an athletic team, and they shoot the ball, these two guys.
And I think you learn a lot more about yourself as a ball club in these tight games.
Great execution off the baseline out of bounds play. That's a sign of a good team right there.
It's a big time shot. Coach Few's always been one of the best. Coming out of timeouts, he finds ways to set up good looks out of those timeouts.
Shiverton falling down. Hits another 3. Who is this guy? Is that World B Free we're watching?
Wow.
Shiverton with 25. Boy, did that quiet the crowd.
Just when the kennel is ready to erupt, they hit a big shot.
It's the second or third time they've done that here in the second half.
Sacre on the post, kick out, Hart. Pangos. Sacre got confused. 8 on the shot clock. Threw it away. No offense there.
You know, that offensive possession, love the ball movement. You swung it 4 times. You got the ball in the low block 3 different times. No one wanted to shoot it. Someone's got to be aggressive, and this is part of the growing process for this ball club. You lose a guy like Stephen Gray. Every year it seems like they have a guy coming back who's used to taking some of those big shots. I think this team is still in the process of trying to figure out who's that guy.
I mean, isn't it as simple, though, if you're taller, just shoot it over him? Shiverton kicks out. Winford for 3. He can shoot it. Actually, that's Jeffrey Forbes in the corner.
They led him last year at 41% from 3. It's the second time he's got himself open deep in that corner. You've got to know where Eastern Washington shooters are.
Doesn't matter who it is right now. It seems to be going in for Eastern.
Pangos. Harris tip back, no good. Tip back again off the rim. Zachary's got it. And he'll shoot free throws.
We're starting to see Gonzaga really go to the glass in the second half. I think they're up 13 rebound differential, but they haven't taken advantage of it every time.
6:22 to play. Eastern Washington with a 1-point lead. Jim Hayford said, look, on a skill level, we probably can't play with Gonzaga, but we're going to give it everything. And he's seeing it here tonight.
He's talked about that incessantly. It's just the effort he is going to demand from his players, and you've seen it tonight. Even when they were down late in that first half before they made that run and made it a game going into halftime, there was no quit with this group.
Zachary now 11 of 14 from the line. So he missed 3 early ones, and since then he's been pretty good. Well, really good.
Get those early jitters out.
And I've looked over on that bench a few times, and I haven't seen Hayford coach many games, but he's had a wry smile on his face a lot in this game. He's proud of the way his guys are playing in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's confident in the philosophy that he's implementing here, and he's extremely excited about how they've gone out and competed tonight.
And here you see this stalling offense again.
Yeah,
last time they did this, GU gave up a layup with 4 seconds on the shot clock.
They're shortening the game on the road. Ederain, Harris pops out. Shiverton left wide open. That was long. Carter, what a rebound, and then lost it, but a foul is called.
Love that out of one of your guards. Go in there amongst the big guys and scrap out a rebound. That is great effort by Marquise Carter right there.
How about the intensity in this building?
Yeah, feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, I love it, man.
I want to get out there and play.
This is when this gig is awesome. These types of games.
Well, these fans already being treated this year. I mean, this is the year that Michigan State, Butler, and Notre Dame have to come into this building to play Gonzaga. Lo and behold, it's Eastern Washington that's off to this start and giving us a heck of a game here tonight.
There's some good games on that schedule this year. You talk about Michigan State. Anybody who watched North Carolina, Michigan State today on the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson, that was a very, very cool setting for a college basketball game.
Carter now starting to hit him at the line as well.
Tell you what, that Michigan State game is going to be a wrestling match. I don't know how much basketball they're going to play.
We talk about a good front line with Gonzaga with size.
Yeah.
Michigan State's front line might not be as talented skill-wise, but they're going to bang with you as much as any other team in the country.
And again, Eastern really shortening this game now.
They're trying to make it a possession game. Get this thing in the last 2 minutes as a 1, maybe 2 possession game where they can really shorten the game and have a chance to win.
Well, and you've got to think, the closer we get to the end of this ball game, the pressure's going to be felt a lot more on that GU sideline than Eastern.
Shiverton fall back, missed it. Hackard with the rebound, stripping his heart.
That's the one guy you've got to know where he's at all times tonight.
And a Forbes with the rebound, and then a foul is called on Marquise Carter.
Long three-point shots lead to long rebounds, and that's why it's critical when you play against teams like Eastern Washington that shoot a ton of three-point shots that your guards rebound, and we haven't seen it tonight. Poor blockouts consistently right there. Pangos just watches the flight of the ball, never turns around and tries to block out Forbes, gives up the offensive rebound.
Tried to go back door there, and then Eastern turned the ball over. That was Carter's second personal. That's 5 on GU with 5:01 to play. And Gonzaga has hit 10 consecutive shots now at the free throw line, and they've been into the double bonus already for a while. So this game may come down to the free throw line, and Gonzaga seems to have found their way at that line.
How about Carter, 14 attempts at the free throw line. Rob Zachary, your 7-footer's got himself there 15 times.
You gotta love the fact that you're making your free throws, but you can't rely on that. They gotta get good open shots and step up and knock them down right now.
You can hear them chanting, "This is our house." 61-5 in this Mark Few era at home against non-conference teams. Ball knocked away. Pangos in the right place, but then Ederain picked it up for Eastern.
Just a bad offensive set. Rob gets left on an island. No one makes himself available. He starts trying to back somebody down from 16 feet. That's just not his game.
Shiverton on Hart. Again, a step back. That one falls off. Zachary the rebound.
Great.
Shiverton's gone
effort.
cold.
Pardon me, Greg, but a nice effort defensively from Hart. He is.
Here's Harris. Can he get it done? Got it to Hart. No call. Hart again missed the shot. Pangos with the rebound.
Got to get that ball out. Get yourself situated right now. Right now, the inexperience of Gonzaga's guards are kind of showing a little bit. The game is kind of jumbled up. Get the ball, get yourself and your team situated.
The ball in Pangos' hand, or
this portion of the game brought to you by Numerica Credit Union. Open your Gozag's checking account only at Numerica Credit Union. Details at banklikeabulldog.com. 68-65 our score with 3:52 to play. Gonzaga leading Eastern Washington by just 3. And Mike Hart at the free throw line. His first free throws of the game, 4 points, 9 rebounds for Mike Hart. And he misses the front end. As a team, Gonzaga 70% from the line. They've taken 41 free throws in this game. And now a foul called on Robert Zachary. Jordan Hickert with the rebound, and Zachary punched it away from behind.
Yeah, that's just not a foul you want to commit in this situation. You're up 3.5, 4 minutes left in the game. You got to make your fouls count if you're gonna commit one right now.
That was the first foul on Hart, 6 on Gonzaga. So one more, and Eastern shoots free throws. I haven't heard much from Colimon lately. He had that big first half. He goes on Zachary. Missed a shot. Carter now is fouled. And Colimon just fouled out of the game, I think.
You mentioned it earlier.
It is. He's out.
Attrition.
just a silly foul there. Frustrating because he missed the shot. I think he probably felt like he got fouled, got bumped on that attempt. But you can't afford to do that.
I mean, it's just one possession. There's still an eternity to play.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the 29th team foul on Eastern Washington. Time now to announce our Subway sub of the game. Subway fans, make sure to visit your local Subway restaurant today to try one of the Subway melts like the Big Philly, the steak and bacon melt. Only at Subway, proud sponsors of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Tonight's sub is Mr. Pangos. 9 points on 2 of 4 shooting and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And Marquise Carter there at the line.
Look at how many free throws both Sacre and Carter have taken tonight. You'd have to go back through the stats for the past number of years to see when the last time 2 separate Zags in the same game shot over 15 free throws apiece.
Especially when one of them's a guard. I mean, that's 30 of the 43 have been taken by Sacre and Carter. And Carter now in a rhythm at the line, 11 of 16. He's got 16 points.
Been struggling for the free throw line, starting to start the game. He's really settled down, like you said, Greg. Those are some big shots he's knocking down.
There's Winford. Let's see what Eastern can get done now. Shiverton on Harris. Blocked by Elias Harris.
Big play.
Smart play. Stayed down on the shot fake.
He did too, didn't he? That's hard to do.
Well, especially when you're a big guarding a little. You want to block shots, but what you don't realize, you don't have to jump to block a guy's shot my size.
I don't think I jumped for any of my blocks.
Harris guarding Shiverton. Threw up a wild one. You know, it's interesting to me that it's Elias Harris guarding the hot hand in this game.
I had the same thought.
It wouldn't have happened a year ago.
He would not have been guarding him.
Right.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily designed that way. He's gotten onto him onto Shiverton through switches. Good. But the thing is they've recognized and realized they don't mind having Harris there in a switch type situation. You don't want him guarding your go-to guy in long stretches.
Pangos baseline, bounce pass to Carter, who drives, threw up a weak one. Sacre again, and he's fouled, and Big Rob back to the line.
Rob is getting beat up tonight. I tell you what, every one of those fouls he's taken have been hard.
Well, he brought that one on himself. He makes the first one. He's not going to get cracked in the head on the second one. Big fella's got to make the first one.
You got no sympathy for the big fella?
No, not at all. When you miss that little bunny. Talk about Michigan State, Notre Dame, one of those type teams, you've got to make that first initial one at the rim.
Well, according to the scoreboard in here, Cliff Etterain has fouled out. But I think that the coaching staff over there is trying to make the case that that's just number 4. And I think it is. No, wait, Etterain's coming out now.
Well,
so this is going to be number 3.
He's got 4 personals, but he's got the technical.
Right, and maybe that's what Eastern's forgetting.
That shows you how big it is in the game of basketball to control your emotions. Looking back, there's no way he wishes he would have gotten that technical foul early in the game because now he's out.
And again, it's one of their frontline players.
Eastern's getting smaller and smaller as the game goes on.
And skinnier and skinnier, too. You look at, they're probably going to have Jordan Hickert now guarding either Sacre or Harris. Gonzaga's going to definitely try to take care of that, advantage of that mismatch down on the block.
Hickert and Winford on the floor with 4 personal fouls now for Eastern Washington. And Gonzaga's lead now at 7.
46 free throws for GU tonight. That's an impressive number.
It's got to be close to a school record, isn't it?
It's up there.
Well, I know Gonzaga's not shooting well. 37 for the game, 28 this half. Shiverton, left hand, missed it. Carter the rebound.
Boy, he has struggled.
Wow.
Now 1 of 11 over his last 11 attempts.
Gonzaga really got away with that one because that was not very good help side defense. They just let Shivert go right down the lane, and luckily enough, he missed a little layup at the rim.
Shiverton fell right on Carter, and it's obvious that Carter's face got acquainted with the floor.
I'm sure he's fine with it because he's going to get 2 more free throws.
Actually, he was just poked in there, wasn't he? Yeah, he actually got him with a left hand prior to the fall. Carter, 16 points. He's 2 of 11 from the field. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Probably not the way you want to get your points, but you take them, right, Dan?
You know what? At the end of the day, you're glad you got points. I'll tell you that much.
Well,
if that's what it takes for your team to win, you'll take it. Coach Few, the way he looks at his point guards is he doesn't care what you score, what you shoot. He measures his point guards and how good they are by how you win and the percentage that you win your games.
Carter, 1 of 2, 8-point game.
Imagine the kind of game he'd have if he was able to knock down a few of those jump shots early.
It's a 30-point game tonight.
He's just can't find the bottom of the rim when he's looking to score with those jump shots. But overall, he's played a nice game.
Boy, there's a quick shot by Willie Hawkins, a freshman out of Los Angeles. So he walks on the floor confidently. That
was a great shot, but the thing right there is you've got your big guarding the perimeter out front, which is fine because Rob can do that. He can play that. But force him to your help. They loaded the other side. Force him to your help where it's going to make it a tougher shot.
Mike Hart for 3. That one's long. Zachary picks up the loose ball. Chance for 3.
He'll take it.
Eastern does not like the call. Rather, they don't like the continuation. I think it should just be 2 free throws, not the and one.
It was a definite foul, but you know you're in the Kennel Club. You're going to get that continuation.
But watch, shouldn't it be? I mean, it looked like his feet came off the ground here, and then he shot it. So if anything, it should be tied up, right?
Yeah, no, definitely, without a doubt. Shouldn't be continuation.
No.
But we're at Gonzaga's house, not at Eastern's, right?
I mean, possession arrow favoring Gonzaga right now, if you're wondering, but that should have been the call, right?
I think it's a foul on the ground.
And that's tonight's Supercuts play of the game. Get in, get confident. Visit one of 15 local Supercuts salons today. Supercuts, proud partner of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. 5 players now fouled out of this game for Eastern Washington. Loose ball. That's off of Forbes. That was a clear call there.
I think most guys on the floor thought it was 2 free throws. Mike Hart's the only one who realized it was just a one free throw situation.
So they called the foul before the shot up.
Great job by Kevin Pangos reading the situation, pull it out right there. Run a little bit of time off the clock. Now the question here is, though, there we go. Get the ball in the hands of your point guard.
Harris left open for 3. That's off. This is Forbes. Under a minute to go. Quick 3. Pangos the rebound. Eastern needs to follow now. And there it is. Hawkins picks up his first.
Big time rebound from your freshman point guard. In the crowd, 2 Eastern Eagles looking to get that offensive rebound. Somehow Kevin comes up with it. And has the wherewithal to get out of that trouble, push the ball off the floor, and force Eastern to foul him.
Well, I think one of the main things we talked about throughout the game was Eastern was going to have to rebound. They were going to have to stay out of foul trouble. Well, they didn't stay out of foul trouble, obviously. And they shot the ball early. But when they needed to make shots down the stretch, they didn't. They missed 10 of their last 11 shots tonight.
10-point game. Time now to announce tonight's player of the game, presented by A to Z Rental. No job too big, too small. With 7 convenient locations, we rent everything. Let A to Z Rental be your most valuable player for all your rental needs. And it goes to Rob Zachary tonight. 22 points, 4 of 9 shooting, but 14 of 18 from the free throw line. And a double-double.
It's a nice way to start off your senior season.
For both teams.
Oh,
I mean, even though Eastern loses, this is a tough place to win, but Coach Hayford's got to be happy with the effort.
I think both coaches will take a lot away from this game. For Eastern, they're going to feel awfully good about their effort. For GU, right off the bat, you want a tough, tough game. You can take a lot away from a game like that, even though you struggle for large stretches of the game.
And that'll do it. Wait a minute, there's 0.6 to go. 0.6 to go. They're going to have to inbound it as Hayford and Fewer. Coaching staffs are already shaking hands.
That's a crafty move by Marquise Carter there as a senior. He doesn't want to shoot a 30-footer at the end of the game, make his shooting percentage go down even more. So he passes it to Mike Hart, and he didn't want to see any part of it either, so he just let the shot clock run out. That's stuff you see in the NBA, not in college.
So just an inbound pass here to go. Gonzaga is going to win this one 77-69. Jim Hayford and his coaching staff will now set their sights on the rest of the season. I think they got a good foundation to build from. Mark Few found out a lot about his team tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching on Root Sports, we say good night from Spokane. We'll see you somewhere down the road. And for those watching on SWX, keep it right here. We got our post game to show. Gonzaga defeats Eastern Washington 77-69. Good night, and come on back.